Ethics, part two. So here we are, and we're asking the question, what do we do? How do I practically live my life? And so I want to propose to you a question that we're probably going to end up talking about in general. Let's say that I, as the teacher, am observing a test. It is specifically one of the tests for the IB subject tests. And as I am watching, one of the students is undisputedly cheating off of another student. What do I do? What would ethics demand that I do? Now, please understand, we're not here to debate whether or not the person was cheating. One of the set pieces of this problem is that there's undisputable evidence. I watched it happen. The person cheated, plain and simple. So, what do I do with that information? How do I act? How do I react? How do I properly, ethically handle the situation? What I want you to do right now is to go ahead and take a minute and write down some possible answers to that question. And perhaps, and also a little bit of what perspective, what ethical perspective those answers might come from or might be associated with. So, we're going to continue looking at the concept of ethical perspectives as to where these things are coming from. And now we're going to kind of launch into what we're doing about ethics this time around. But hold in your mind that question that we've had, and please make sure you've paused the video and answered, what should I do if that situation obtains? All right, thinking about ethics, meta-ethics is the study of, just as you're watching a television program and then you begin to get meta about it because you think about the way television programs are constructed and the way series are constructed, and you begin thinking about the story structure, and you begin thinking about character arcs, and that's thinking about thinking about the entertainment that you're watching instead of just being entertained by that. In the same way here, meta ethics is thinking about ethics instead of just dealing with ethical issues or ethical quandaries. It's more than simply, oh, is this right or wrong? Oh, what should I do? And it goes into, well, why should I make a particular choice? The nature of ethical knowledge. First question that ethics asks is, are ethical values independent of humans or a product of human thought? Am I discovering ethical realities of the universe around me, whether they're supernatural in origin, natural in origin, inescapable conclusions of philosophy, or am I producing ethics by my thought or the thoughts of multiple people combined together? Along with that question of where is this stuff coming from is the question of whether moral truths exist. And there are kind of two models we run into here. On one end, you end up with the scientistic model. The nature of science is that you encounter the world as it is. You note down, run experiments, do work to better understand the world as you find it. And while you're doing that, you discover things like the law of gravity. Discover things like the nature of magnetism. You discover things like the way that atoms work. You discover things like the theory of evolution. You look at the facts around you, you investigate them, and you find the way the world is, and you define the way the world is from what you find. It's not something you necessarily make up in your head, it's something you run into. Whereas culture is something that we create when we're together. It's not that human beings create together. It's not that they discover particular cultural rules, supposedly. The idea is that given the base conditions that a group of people it has, and then you add to that not just those base conditions, but then on top of it, you have the environmental impacts to them, and that forms the basis of their moral ideas, their moral truths, their thoughts about the world, and that's where their culture comes from.